He takes Oswald back to his room, and now he has the rifle used in the assassination of President Kennedy tied to the man he has in custody. Okay? So he opens a conversation with Oswald and he says, "How'd you sleep, Lee?" Looked him right in the eye and says, "Never slept better." This is unbelievable. Captain Fritz then asked Oswald about the package he brought to work the day of the assassination. He responded by telling Fritz it wasn't curtain rods. You know what he told him it was? His lunch. He told him it was his lunch. Captain Fritz then asked Oswald if he had ordered a rifle under the name A.J. Heidel. And he says calmly, no. Oswald then was confronted about the fact that the identification card they found in his wallet bore the name A.J. Heidel. He simply said he knew nothing about it. Now this is where it gets good. Okay? Meanwhile, we go back to the Payne residence, and Marina is kind of sad and down the dumps, and she's looking at old photos of the couple, and she came across one she had taken herself. And Oswald actually had posed for 2 pictures taken by Marina in the backyard of their apartment before they separated. And I'll get into all that when we have our Friday night meeting. Well, in the photos, if you look behind you, right above the box of donuts, you see Oswald holding a rifle, a copy of The Worker and the Militant, and I'll be darned if the revolver used in the Tippit killing isn't in his holster on the side. Just give you a copy of this picture for you. I'll have you know that Blake Kroger and I not only went to this place and took our picture in the exact same spot, we stole the piece of the porch and put it on here. Oh yeah. And maybe when you guys are older and I can tell you my comment to Blake as he stuck that down the front of his pants as we were walking to the taxi, maybe I'll tell you what my comment to him was. I don't want to offend you. I want to say... Anyway, I'll get to that. Maybe I'll throw that out at the end. But anyway, so this picture was taken. Bear with me now. Come on. This picture was taken by his wife prior to the assassination. There is the rifle used in the assassination. There is the pistol used in the killing of Tippit. Now, when Marina saw these photos, she panicked and was very afraid of what they might do if the police got a hold of them. So she took them from her scrapbook and hid them in her room. Then at 1:10 p.m., and this is pretty interesting, 1:10 p.m., she goes to the city jail to visit her husband with her mother-in-law, Marguerite. Because she's got to find out in her mind, Lee, did you really do this or not? Because she's starting to put pieces together, right? Okay? Now, Oswald is very upset to see his mother. Had a horrible relationship with his mother. But he got calmed down by Marina so they could have a conversation, and Mom wasn't involved in this conversation. She was there. Now, Lee hints to Marina, they're kind of alone in a way, and Lee hints to Marina they can't talk because he thinks his room is bugged. It might have been. I don't think so. Well, most of the conversation is about Lee assuring Marina that all is going to be fine, that he has people that are going to help him on the outside. Well, everything's going to be fine. And Marina goes there hoping to get a sense that her husband's not involved in this assassination, but after she leaves, in her mind, she realizes this is not the man I remember, and she in her mind for the first time starts thinking, you know what? I think it is possible. She knew Lee. If he was being accused of something that he didn't do, he wouldn't be calm. He'd be busting on the table like he did when the FBI agent came in. He'd be protesting, yelling injustice. In her mind, her husband was simply too calm and too accepting of what was happening to him. So as she departs, she's pretty convinced that maybe this guy was involved. What she doesn't know is the police had already been to the Payne residence prior to her getting in that scrapbook, and they had already gotten a picture like that. And that's the evidence that Fritz got that morning. Remember, he was all excited about it? He charged him, and then he found this order form in the gun. Now he's got this photo. Now he's got this photo. Okay, they take Oswald to his fourth lineup. And William Scoggins, do you remember William Scoggins? Who was he? Cab driver. Now this was a little odd to me. William Scoggins was a cab driver, and he was there to identify the man who shot Tippit. And Oswald is complaining profusely as he's taken in the room that the police have made him stand out. You know, I look different than everybody else. It's no wonder they're picking me out of here. These guys look different than me. Well, not really, okay? Well, Scoggins takes one look at Oswald in the lineup and says, quote, "He can bitch and moan all he wants, but that's the man that I saw." Okay? Now, at this point, it's just getting crazy. And Dallas Police Chief Jesse Curry wants to move Oswald out of the city jail and transfer him to the county jail. Because that's what they do while you're waiting for trial. And Police Chief Curry visits with Captain Fritz and he says, "Hey, at 4 o'clock this afternoon on the 23rd, can we move Oswald from the city jail to the county jail?" Captain Fritz wants more time with him. Why? He still wants to get a confession. He's got the rifle patched up and all, but he really would like it to be a lot cleaner if he could get a confession. So, because Captain Fritz wants a confession, he requests through Chief Curry to give me a little more time. So they agree, and this is important you understand this concept. They agree they're going to move Oswald, and this is very important, approximately 10 o'clock the next morning. And they're going to move him from the city jail, which is downtown, to the county jail, which ironically is the top floors of the Dallas County Courthouse building where Nellie Conley turned and said, "Mr. President, you can't say Dallas doesn't love you." So they were going to transfer him several blocks from the city jail to the county jail. Normal procedure, okay? Well, at 4:30 p.m., and we're still on the 23rd, Oswald's allowed to make a phone call because he wants to secure what? An attorney, right? And he decides to call the law office of this guy right here, John J. Apt. You have to dig pretty deep to get some of this stuff. John J. Apt is the attorney that he calls to see if he will represent him because he believes he's going to have a trial. Well-known defense attorney. Well, Apt is out on vacation, so Oswald calls Ruth Payne and asks her if she would call Attorney Apt for him and gives Mrs. Payne the telephone number. Because how many calls does he get? One. And he's not in. So he's got to have somebody get a hold of this attorney. So he calls Mrs. Payne. Now, Mrs. Payne, I've talked to her about this. She agrees to do this, but she's astonished on his demeanor, being that she's seen him upset so much more about nothing, so much less. Does that make sense? Now he's charged with the murder of a police officer and the president, and she's just astonished, and we may get a chance to talk with her also, and she'll tell you that she couldn't believe how calm this guy was and how ballsy he was after what he did, position he put her in, to call and ask her, "Hey, will you do this favor for me?" Very kind woman, and she said she would, but she was a little astonished that after he had a gun in her home, killed the President of the United States with it, stayed in her home several weekends, that he would have the guts to call her and ask for help. But she's a nice lady, so she said she would. Okay? Well, they bring Oswald back in for interrogation, and Fritz is going to use his final piece of evidence, which is the photo. Okay? Now, Oswald immediately looks at the photo and says, "Well, that's a fake. That's my body, but that's not my face on that photo. Somebody superimposed my face on that photo." Okay? At this point, Captain Fritz is what? Done. He's done. He has come to the conclusion that Oswald is in total denial, despite all the evidence against him, and he sends Oswald back to his jail cell, and what's he make preparations for? The transfer the next morning. And that's where we'll be tomorrow, is talking about the transfer of Lee Harvey Oswald, which is going to result in his death. Okay? Good story, eh? Now, I'll tell you the Blake Kroger story, but I'm not going all the way there.